I've had this journal for a long time, and at first, when my wife got it, it became more of a paperweight than anything else, but I decided to bring it out now since there seems to be something going on here. Recently, Tuffin signed an agreement for this new nuclear power plant the government is building on the Brendan branch between the docks and SODOR. Of all the places they could have put it, they had to put it near the most beautiful line, in my opinion. That's going to affect tourism, and that's probably why the big man signed that contract to take nuclear waste to from the mainland. He's got to regain that money somehow anyways. Besides that, nothing's changed. What else? Edward's doing fine, and he's got a similar opinion to me on the power plant. He said it's going to be an eyesore, but he does like the idea of doing more work. We were waiting patiently at Wellsworth for the rest of our passengers to board the train. Meanwhile, unknowns to me or Sydney, things were going wrong at the power plant.
Jacob.
What's the matter?
Dennis just arrived and is ready to take the goods train.
Is his train shunted?
Yes, Duck shunted it about an hour ago. He's long gone by now.
Good. Also, what time is it?
Oh, it's 2:33.
Thanks. I can't wait to get out of this dump.
What the hell?
Hang on, what's going on?
No time to explain. Sound the alarm!
I'm on it.
As an earth-shattering explosion boomed in the distance, the sky went dark and this huge cloud was visible in the distance. Me and Sydney were scared beyond belief. We couldn't comprehend what was going on. I helped him climb out of the cab window onto the roof to see what was going on. What he saw there was terrifying. Sydney scampered back down as the passengers cleared the platform faster than I've ever seen before. We knew the shockwave would be coming fast. The guard blew his whistle. We released the brakes, hit the regulator, and pulled the whistle for dear life. Hoping to God that Cedric was still in the signal box, we sped out at the station at speeds we'd never gone before. Thank God he was, because without him, we would have been killed. He switched the points, and shortly after, we heard the honking of a horn in the distance. Edward towed down the line as his wheels pounded the rails fiercely. We soon saw Donald going the opposite way, pulling slow goods. Edward whistled and yelled for him to grab us, but it was too late. We found out later that he didn't make it out alive, neither did William or Colin in his cab. We proceeded to push the old engine as far as we could, steam erupting from his valves and gauges. We prepared for the worst as we rocketed through Crosby. The shockwave finally hit us, and Jesus, it was strong. It caused the glass in the coaches to shatter and rocked them side to side. Edward's pony truck also derailed because of some jammed points, but those things didn't stop us. We soon arrived at a carriage shed down the line, and we decided to give ourselves a chance to calm down, rest and think for a moment, while also checking over Edward and the passengers to see if any were injured. Luckily, no one was. We'll leave here in a few hours. After staying at the carriage shed for about 3 hours, we made it safely to Knapford and huddled everyone into the station buildings and offices. We heard on the radio that the entirety of Brendan was hit by the explosion and the death toll was unknown. I hope that Leonard got out of there alive, but that's a slim chance. We were shocked to see James pull up to the station with empty coaches. He seemed pretty pent up about something, since he was taking his anger out on Edward. We didn't know what was going on in his mind at the time, but Joseph told me they left half of their train at the platform instead of getting them all aboard before the blast hit them. But by the way he was acting, James definitely saw something the rest of us didn't. After laying about in the station for about an hour, we thought it was time we left. Felix and I were talking about how scary it was to run away from such a disaster. We've all decided to entirely ditch the idea of going to Tidmouth and head straight to the Vickerstown Bridge. While we were heading down the line, Edward had to stop for water. Felix made sure James didn't slow down and shot right past us, hoping to get across to the mainland. However, they went on the wrong line and went straight to Sudbury. I haven't seen them since. Sydney and I decided to check in Wellsworth for something to eat, but we didn't even want to take a step off Edward's footplate when we saw shattered glass everywhere. But we knew we had to investigate. We saw a few bodies too, but they were beyond recognition. After failing to find survivors at Wellsworth Station, I decided to go into the village and attempt to find any more scared souls who had survived this nightmare. Sydney, on the other hand, stayed with Edward and kept him company. I searched a few buildings thoroughly, but with no prevail before I decided to head back to Edward since it was getting dark. But as I was walking up to the old engine, my two-way radio started to make static. We got a call from Jim Cole on my two-way radio. He took shelter in a bunker underneath his house that he had built a few years ago. His wife and daughter were okay. Too poor Trevor, though the blast got him bad. Jem had his rifle on him and put the traction engine out of his misery. Edward broke down in tears when I told him the news. We talked about our adventures with Trevor until we felt drowsy, and we've decided to sleep inside Edward's cab tonight. It might be risky, but it's less hazardous than sleeping in a building with tons of shattered glass inside it. Luckily, we still had a spare fire blanket in the cab, so we used that. I hope this nightmare ends soon. We woke up to the sound of rain pelting the top of Edward's cab. We got up and we started getting his fire ready, and noticed how we're only half full with his coal capacity. Then, to our surprise, we saw Percy shoot past us with what seemed to be Annie and Clarabelle, along with a single troublesome truck on the back. They seemed to be completely unscathed and didn't even stop to check on us.